Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be looking at a software application called the Highbyte Intelligence Hub. So as I'm looking at it, I'm going to be posting sort of like tutorial videos, learning about it and posting what I learn, and I'm going to post it on YouTube as well. So LinkedIn and YouTube. Up above, I have a new playlist I've done for YouTube, so you can, if you're interested, you can click on that and save that as a bookmark to keep track. So let me tell you why I'm looking at it. You know, when I first started out, I was doing mostly PLC programming. This was like in the 90s. Yes, I'm old. And then I moved more to SCADA systems, and then finally most of my work ended up being systems integration in the SCADA system space. So that in other words, you have your SCADA system, HMI, SCADA system, that sort of thing. And then, you know, gradually as companies grow, they want more integration with their IT systems from the SCADA system back and forth. And I was heavily involved in projects like that. And what I found was that over and over there would be a pattern in those projects over time. So, and the pattern would be represented by this phrase here. Wow, that's great. Can it also do this? A lot of times stakeholders, you know, the managers in the company and so on, don't know what is possible in terms of integrating software, and when they see one instance, they'll be like, oh, can it also do this? And if you do that, can it also do this? And can it also, so it continues to grow and grow and grow and grow. And I've been involved in quite a few projects like that. And if you take a look at some of those projects growing over time, and you look at them now, you would probably say, Emil, you should be shot. Let me give you an instance of that, right? So this was an actual client of mine that I worked with over the years. I just, you know, as you grow and grow, you don't have the tools that you have now for systems integration, and especially with respect to integration into IT systems. So when you see the final thing, forgive this. So it was a utilities / oil and gas company with a radio telemetry master, right? Everything was a wide area network, and the first step was to connect Wonderware InTouch to it. Now usually, you know, like in the early 2000s and so on, most of my projects would be this. It's like, you know, here's Wonderware InTouch, you could visualize the data, there was archival and so on, here's the invoice, pay me, buy, and that's it. But over time, as things grew and grew, and that's why we have all this fancy software today, MQTT, and there's OPC UA and all that, they inevitably wanted more and more integration with their IT systems. So the archival in here wasn't enough, so we wanted the historian. Now this is Wonderware like 8 or something, right? It's ridiculous. They didn't have native OPC in this. You had to use something called OPC Link. Wonderware historian to historize the data, so now we have it in an SQL server database. Great, wonderful. Then the next step from that is like, wow, that's great. Can it also do this? Well, we need some data in some Excel files that some department uses. Can you do like an application that grabs the data from here and dumps it into there? Custom application development, that's what this arrow means. Then, one step further, well, we have this legacy DB that the accounting department uses to do something fancy with the invoices and so on, and some other things. So can we get data from the historian into this particular format? It's some legacy DB. So again, another application written there. Then next step is like, oh, we want the, you know, the alarms in the control room, excuse me, are fine, but now we want alarms on the pagers and SMS, and Wonderware's alarming system, the software at that time was crap. So I wrote a custom paging and SMS application in one and linked it to Wonderware with DDE. Yes, I know. Then on top of that, there was a fleet management system for the boats owned by the company, and they wanted data from that fleet management system into Wonderware so they could watch it on the Wonderware system. So in some software to integrate that into there. Then on top of that, they didn't want to pay for more and more Wonderware clients, so they wanted this stuff on the intranet. So I wrote some custom software to link with Wonderware via DDE, grab all the data, use classic ASP and display it as just normal HTML. Then after that, they wanted it on a web server, so offsite they could actually view all that data. So next middleware application that I wrote that shipped data up to a web server in the form of like formatted files, and then it would process here. Doesn't end there. Then on top of that, they got SAP, and they wanted some dumps from Wonderware Historian into SAP. And then after that, they got a production optimizing system, and they needed data from here and then to send the data back in Wonderware. So I wrote an application to do this, an application to do that. Then they got a cellular based telemetry master system and fed into there, and needed to feed data all into here. Now, I don't have to explain much more to tell you that this is a complete mess in terms of maintenance. And if you have to make changes, making changes to this, and I've done it before, means breaking a lot of parts of the system because it's so convoluted and tightly coupled. All right, so this is not some white paper. I built this, right? And whereas I pat myself on the back for being so ingenious, I've created this mess. So when I saw Highbyte Intelligence Hub and when I saw like MQTT brokers and that sort of thing, I immediately thought, could this be possible instead? Right? The advantage here I can see, because I'm an old guy in SCADA system and I've built this mess and other messes like it, is that you want to be able to change a system, because let me tell you from experience, you can't know now all of the demands of a system. You need to be able to say, okay, I know I could scale this, because management is going to come, your customers are going to come with some newfangled something they want integrated into it. And you need to have some architecture that allows you to integrate something new, change something without breaking the entire system. And this hub and spoke model that is like MQTT brokers and now Highbyte Intelligence Hub, what I want to investigate is like, you know what? Yes, this is a pipe dream I have here, right? Obviously, it won't be this simple, but how can more and more of these elements be put onto this hub such that they have one source, it's like one unified namespace where, you know, that's all they interact with. They don't have to be interacting with all over like here. This is like a spaghetti network, right? Is a tightly coupled system, is a loosely coupled system. So in terms of my particular needs in the projects that I see, that's the value I see with Highbyte Intelligence Hub. Yes, it could connect to the cloud and connect to this and that and so on, but in terms of maintaining systems and building systems that could scale, that you know it could scale easily and not break, I think this style of building these types of systems will lead to much lower maintenance, much less gray hair for me, much less headache, and much more effective solutions. Okay, so that's my personal reason for looking into it. So once again, I'll be publishing more and more videos on it as I learn about it. The folks at Highbyte were nice enough to give me a 30-day trial. That's their standard. They give this 30-day trial, so I'm going to be putting it through the motions. All right, thanks.